Okay, so hey there guys. So today's video is going to be reading highly anticipated spring romances. Now, as you guys know, I already read my most anticipated spring romance, which was Say You'll Remember Me, but I included that in a April new releases vlog, and that was literally the first book that I read in April, so obviously I couldn't wait for that book because it was released April 1st. So we are going to be reading 3 anticipated spring releases, and I actually have 2 of them early, so that's why I'm able to include them in this video, and I'll be able to read them before they come out. So the first one is Emily Henry's Great Big Beautiful Life. Now, I actually had already started reading this book because this came out yesterday, so this came out April 22nd. And this is obviously Emily Henry's latest romance book, but this is kind of more women's fiction, but it does have a strong romance plot as well. I mean, all of Emily Henry's books have a very strong romance plot. Funny Story was a little bit more women's fiction as well, but I just want to tell you guys, I'm enjoying this book so much more than Funny Story, because Funny Story was actually my least favorite Emily Henry book, but we'll get into my thoughts on this in just a minute. I just want to tell you guys which books I'm reading first. Then the next one, I'll just pull them both up on Goodreads because one of them doesn't have the cover in the ARC edition that I have. But I'm still going to be reading it. I also want to confirm the release dates for these. So the second one is Annabelle Monaghan's It's a Love Story, and this one comes out May 27th of 2025. I received the ARC of this, I think, back in March, and I still haven't read it yet, but I really didn't want to read this until it was warmer out, because obviously you can tell by the cover it's like going to be very summer romance heavy, and that's basically what Annabelle Monaghan writes. I have read all of her previous books. The same thing with Emily Henry. I've read every single romance book from Emily Henry, so I did not want to, not continue my train of reading her books. So I've read all of her romance books. I haven't read her entire backlist, but I have read all of her romance books, but I have read all of Annabelle Monaghan's books because there's only been 3, and I binged all 3 of them last summer. And I'm telling you, like, she is just the perfect summer romance / women's fiction author. So I'm very excited for this book. I know I'm going to love it. I've been seeing a lot of the early reviews of this book, and a lot of people are loving it because I'm like, Annabelle Monaghan's writing is perfection, and I'm probably 100% going to be picking up the physical copy when it comes out because I just love her books, and I own all 3 of the other ones. So yeah, I can't wait to read that one. I'm probably going to read that one next, and then this one I'm going to save for last. Why the heck? I swear to God, my freaking Goodreads is so annoying sometimes. Like, why doesn't it come up? Okay, here it is. So the last one, but I don't know if I might read this a little bit before It's a Love Story, or I might just read it second because this one comes out May 20th. And this is Catherine Center's The Love Haters, and this is Catherine Center's latest book that comes out May 20th. But I also have the ARC read of this one, which I was very, very excited for because Catherine Center is one of my favorite romance authors, but she also, like, it's not really it's still romance heavy, but she's much more like women's fiction as well, but romance again plays a huge role in her stories, but in her books, but she's much more closed door as compared, and so is Annabelle Monaghan, and Emily Henry is probably the one that's the most open door out of the 3, because actually this one is more open door than these 2. But anyway, I love Catherine Center's writing. I've read 5 of her books before. Let me just tell you guys which books they actually were. So with Emily Henry, I've read Book Lovers, Beach Read, Happy Place, People We Meet on Vacation, and Funny Story. That was not the order that I read them in. I read Beach Read, then Funny Story. I read Book Lovers, then Beach Read, then Funny Story, then Happy Place, and then People We Meet on Vacation, and then obviously Great Big Beautiful Life. So this is now my 6th book from Emily Henry. This is also going to be my 6th Catherine Center book as well. So I've read, what did I start with? Hello Stranger, which was my favorite book from Catherine Center. My favorite book from Emily Henry's Beach Read, by the way. I don't care what anybody says. Beach Read is a 6-star romance to me. It's one of my favorite romance books of all time. I absolutely love that book so much. So I've been kind of chasing that feeling of Emily Henry's books, and none of them have given me 6-star feelings the way that Beach Read did. I just absolutely love that book with my whole heart. But People We Meet on Vacation is my only other 5-star read from her. And Funny Story was my least favorite. Book Lovers, I gave like a 4.25. Happy Place, I gave a 4.5. I really, really liked Happy Place a lot. And then Funny Story, I only gave 4 stars because I really just didn't like that book as much as the others. But it was still a good book. So Great Big Beautiful Life is kind of on its way to be a 5-star. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So Annabelle Monaghan's books I've read is Nora Goes Off Script. I'll talk about Catherine Center third. I don't know why I'm so scattered today. I've read Nora Goes Off Script, Same Time Next Summer, and Summer Romance. And I gave Nora Goes Off Script 5 stars. Same Time Last Summer, I think I just gave 4 stars. And Summer Romance, I gave 5 stars as well. So I absolutely love her books. Same Time Next Summer was the only one that I wasn't really loving as much as the other two, but I still love and adore her writing so much. So I'm so excited to read it. It's a love story. And then with Catherine Center, I've read 5 of her books. I've been working on her backlist, but I've actually been reading more Ali Hazelwood books this year as opposed to Catherine Center, because I did read 4 Catherine Center books last year. So I read Hello Stranger, which I gave a 5 stars. Then I read Happiness for Beginners, which I gave like a 4.25. I thought I was going to give it a 5-star, but then the last like 15% I didn't really love. That's kind of how I feel with Catherine Center books, is that her books kind of start going downhill for me around the 85% mark. But I mostly do enjoy them so much. And then the third book that I read was What You Wish For by Catherine Center. Why am I saying who it's by? They're all by the same person. That was my least favorite Catherine Center book. I really didn't like it that much. I gave it a 3.25, and that's probably my lowest rated book in this entire video. So take that with a grain of salt. It's kind of like a loosely based sequel to Happiness for Beginners because it centers around Catherine Center. It centers around one of the main characters of Happiness for Beginners, and it's his love story, but honestly, I didn't really like it that much because he was so mean. And then the 4th book that I read from her is How to Walk Away. I really, really loved that book. I think I gave it a 4.5. So that ended up being my second favorite Catherine Center book. And then this year, I listened to The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. Why am I saying that again? And that was finally my second 5-star read from her. So I'm kind of like a little up and down with her. And from the reviews of this book, I've been seeing people either love this or really not like it. So maybe that's why she called it The Love Haters, because you're either going to love this book or you're going to hate it. So I hope I like it at least. I hope I'm like somewhere in the middle, but we're going to have to see. So I'm really, really excited to read the arc of this as well. So yeah, very exciting reads in this. So for Great Big Beautiful Life, I am pretty much 70% into this book. I'm on page 301, chapter 27. And so far, I'm loving this book, you guys. Like, I don't know what it is about this one. I feel like this one has a lot more of a simpler plot. But I think also, I've just been needing like a... Not that I haven't been reading like happier romances lately, because even though Abby Jimenez is my favorite romance author, sometimes her books are a little heavy. So, but even though Say You'll Remember Me, I just thought was so beautifully written. It wasn't, like I said, as sad as her other books. Maybe if I would have read it physically, I probably would have had more of an emotional impact on me, because I only cried like a little bit from this book, but it was mostly because I was so happy for Xavier and Samantha to be together. Their just love story was absolutely beautiful to me. So with this book, with Great Big Beautiful Life, this is not really as sad as an Abby Jimenez book. It's also not as sad as Beach Read. It's not as sad as Happy Place. And I do think that those are like, and People We Meet on Vacation, I mostly cried again because it was such a happy, beautiful romance between the two of them. So with this one, it's 2 rival writers. And they are competing to write this memoir for this big, famous female celebrity that isn't really famous anymore. She's kind of she's older now, and she's pretty washed up at this point. So she wants to write like a memoir. And the two main characters are Alice and Hayden, which I really love. Hayden, that's such a great name. Um, they're both rival writers to be competing to be able to write her book. And they develop a romance while they are staying in Georgia, where what is her name? Why can't I remember the woman, Margaret, where Margaret lives, to write her story. And she keeps on like asking them to come in and, interview her, and so she can talk to them about her life. And they keep on getting like all these bits and pieces of her life, but also it makes them uh kind of befriend each other and like start talking more, because they don't really have any other friends on where they are. So that kind of forces them to talk to each other, but then they, end up becoming friends, and then they end up developing a romance. And honestly, I have been loving the romance between the two of them. It's just so fun. And but they also deal with, issues with their parents, but it's not like devastatingly like abusive relationships. It's kind of like her mother's never really approved of what she does for a living. And then his dad is kind of the same way. He doesn't really like think that him writing is all that great, even though he's won a fucking Pulitzer Prize, okay? So they kind of both have like disapproving parents of what they do, but they're both like amazing at what they do. And so far it's just been flashing back. Well, it's just been going back and forth between them interviewing Margaret and then talking about her past, and the present where, Alice and Hayden are developing a romance. And so far, I've just been really loving it. It's just been such a fun time. And honestly, I am feeling like this might be a 5-star, depending on how it goes at the end. But honestly, I'm absolutely loving Hayden, and I feel like Hayden and Alice are on the same level. And it's not like he does like all these amazing things for her. It's like they just have to spend like a month together and they're slowly falling in love. And it's just so adorable. It's so cute. I'm just really loving this book. So I can't wait to tell you guys what I think when I'm done. So I should be done very soon. I don't know when the fuck I'm going to be able to get out of this house today though, because I got all ready to leave to go to Barnes & Noble so I can sit down and read more of this book. But again, I'm almost 75% of the way through, so I should be able to finish it really soon. I was going to go get food, but then I ended up just eating here because, again, I couldn't leave the house because they're working on our driveway, and there was a truck blocking the driveway, so I'm probably just going to go outside and see what the fuck is going on. If not, I might just film my TBR video because honestly, there's not really an essential reason why I need to go out. I just, put some makeup on, but, at least I didn't put on eyeshadow. So yeah, I will check in with you guys when I finish Great Big Beautiful Life. I don't know when I'm going to be able to pick up the next two though, because I'm going to be starting another vlog of a series that I've been putting off for forever, and I'm going to vlog the whole thing. I'm finally going to be reading The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. So excited. So yeah, I'm going to vlog, oh my god, can I speak? All 3 books. I don't know if I'm going to vlog the prequels as well, because I can never shut up about it. So yeah, that's about it. So bye. Oh, this book is so beautiful. Oh. This is it, and it's not really spoilery. It's just her talking to her mom about her accepting her job, and it says, She says, um, I'm sorry I'm not like Audrey, I'm sorry I'm not saving the world, and I'm not living a perfectly carbon neutral life, and I spend money on unnecessary things like manicures and candles and romance novels, but this is who I am, and even if you don't understand it, couldn't you just pretend for a few days, a year, that you respect me, that you like me, because I can't figure out how to be anyone else, and it's lonely, it's so fucking lonely being the person who doesn't belong in this family. And her mother says, "Oh, honey, you belong," she murmurs, kissing the top of my head. "Never doubt that." "I don't," I argue, my voice wrenching upward. My mom grips my shoulders in her hands, kneeling beside me. "Alice," she says calmly. "I respect you, I love you, I like you, but I don't understand you." And then it says, I blink away the tears and the elfin features come back into focus. "Your dad," she shakes her head and tries again. "When you were a tiny little girl, you were always glued to my side. All day, every day. Audrey was more important, but you were my shadow." It's so beautiful. All right, I'm going to finish it now. Sorry, my friend is messaging me. She's so funny. So I just wanted to let you guys know that I did finish the first book in this video, which is Emily Henry's Great Big Beautiful Life. I mean, I started this yesterday and I completely devoured it today. And I finished it around like 7 o'clock this evening. So it's been like a couple of hours, but then I did a puzzle with my mom and then my friend wanted to call me and then we were on the phone for like a good 2 hours. So like when I'm on the phone with somebody and like after I've finished a book, it's like okay for me to take a couple of hours of not reading because it's not like that's going to affect my reading schedule if I was able to finish a book. So yeah, I freaking loved this book. 5 stars. 5 beautiful, big, great big beautiful stars because I adored this. Like I didn't think I was going to love this book as much as I did. And the reason why I think I loved this book the most, or why it became one of my favorite Emily Henry books, like, Beach Read is still my favorite. Let's get real. Beach Read is still my favorite. But this, and People We Meet on Vacation is like number 2, but I think this is number 3. But this is the third Emily Henry book that I've given 5 stars, because I've given Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation 5 stars. But this one, I felt like this felt the most naturally written dialogue that Emily Henry's written so far between the two main characters. Because even though Beach Read is like perfect banter, I think it's the most perfect banter I've ever read in a rom-com. That book also tears you apart. But with this, there was such a beautiful balance of like, you know, issues between the two main characters, but it wasn't like a third act breakup. It was just, I don't know, it was just so wonderfully written. And the way that this flowed, I was just like, you know, having such a wonderful time reading this. And I just was not bored once, even though there was like a couple of times when I was like reading about Margaret's past history, then I was like, can we just get back to the romance? But also I felt like she didn't drag it on enough in order for me to lose interest in the plot still. And then the way that she tied in why Hayden was called to do this job competing with Alice was so heartbreaking. Do I have a gray hair? No, I don't. Don't look at it if it is, okay? And then again, Hayden and Alice's romance was just so beautiful. Even though they didn't know each other that long, I think it had been like a couple months. But I don't know. There was like 1 or 2 things where I was like, why didn't she like mention like what they were doing all this time? Because she said like 1 month passed and that was it. And then like Hayden showed up again, but then we realized what he was doing. So I don't know. There was like 1 or 2 things that actually did remind me of Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation. Like there was one scene in Beach Read where the guy comes and takes care of the girl during a thunderstorm because like no one can get in touch with her. So that did happen in this book, but the way it was done was so cute. It wasn't like a big grand gesture like it was in Beach Read, but again, that was like so sweet when he did do that in Beach Read. But the way that he was like, well, you didn't answer your phone, and he's like, okay, well, I'm sorry. Like he was apologizing to her for the way that they left things, the the last time he saw each other, and he thought it was because of what he said. He thought that she wasn't answering him. He was like, I was worried about you. And she's like, I'm sorry, my phone died. And then like there was another part like towards the end of the book where it was kind of similar to that the woman makes the grand gesture at the end of People We Meet on Vacation when it's usually the guy. But the way that she would reassure Hayden and kind of like he would validate if he was beautiful because he felt insecure about his body around her. You don't really read that much in female rom-coms because like usually Emily Henry's rom-coms are always from the female's point of view. And it's also very interesting because she's never really changed that. Out of all the books that she's written, it's always been from the female main character's point of view. And since we all know how popular dual POVs are now, especially for romances, I mean, I love myself a good dual POV. I actually prefer it, but with Emily Henry, it just makes so much sense, you know? With Abby Jimenez, she's always written dual POV, which I really, really love. But I don't know, there was just something about this book. Like I said before, with Emily Henry's books, it's more so like you're crying like happy tears because she writes like such beautiful romance stories, and this one she didn't have to go like too deep with the characters to make you feel for them. Like it wasn't like some really sad story about how they were raised or like how their parents are to them. It was more like about like they were just striving for their parents' approval. And oh my God, towards the end when I was crying earlier from what her mother said to her, that was so sweet. And also like, you know, a lot of women can relate to, you know, their mothers and their relationship with their mothers, you know, like me. So, but anyway, like towards the end, she's not really confessing her love to him. She is reading Margaret's letter about Hayden to Hayden about how Alice feels about him. And it was just so beautiful, like the way that she said how much she loved him. And I was just, I don't know, it was just so sweet. And then the epilogue of it wasn't even like an epilogue. It was just called Our Story. Because like I said before, the chapters kept on switching from like Hayden and Alice's story to like my story, meaning like Margaret's story and like of her past and her writing this book. But then at the end, it was our story, meaning Hayden and Alice's story about where they ended up. And the way that she talked about it, it was only like a 3-page kind of epilogue. And it was just so wonderful. Like, I don't know, just this book, like, it gave me the warm fuzzies again. And I feel like with Emily Henry's books, they're like the perfect, like, warm fuzzy romances. But her characters have such depth. You know, and I feel like that's why she's so popular, because I am a fan of her books. Like, but I definitely love this one way more than Funny Story. I thought that this one was just, I don't know, I just couldn't really connect to the story of Funny Story. But also, I feel like I need to reread it at some point because I might not have been as fair to Funny Story as I was to like Emily Henry's other books, because I read Book Lovers before I read Beach Read, and then Beach Read like changed my life. And then I read Funny Story because Funny Story was coming out literally like 2 days after Beach Read came out. And I think Funny Story, no, I think it came out like the second week of April or something. So I read that like after I think I had read Beach Read and Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. And those are like my 2 favorite 6-star romance reads. So like it had a lot to live up to. So I'm thinking I might get the audiobook from Libby and just like listen to it. But I want to see if I feel the same way as I did before. But I think I'm going to wait, you know, like a month or 2 because this book was a banger. So I don't want to keep on comparing to her other books. So I think I'm going to wait a little while because I still have a ton of audiobooks to listen to. I still need to finish my Powerless reread by listening to that. So, yeah, I love this. We're starting off this video strong. If I would have put this in my new releases video, it would have been my other 5-star read. But the only 5-star that there was in that video was They Will Remember Me. But hey, we're starting off with a banger. Can't wait to read the other books, but I'm not going to read those until like later in May. So yeah, bye. Okay, so hey there guys. So I wanted to let you guys know that I did start reading my second book for this video, and that is Annabelle Monaghan's It's a Love Story. Now, I know that Catherine Center's book comes out first, but I was in the mood to read this one more so over the Catherine Center one, because I haven't read an Annabelle Monaghan book this year, but it's fine because I've read all of her books before this, and this is the only book that I haven't read from her because it's not even out yet. And so far, I have only read like the first chapter, but honestly, the first chapter is not really hooking me, to be honest. I usually love her books, but I don't know. I'm just a little bit bored with this concept because it's kind of like an overdone concept at this point because, or like synopsis or whatever. So basically, it's about this woman. What is her name? I'm not really sure what her name is yet. I don't think they've said her name yet, actually. Oh, her name's Jane. I'm pretty sure her name's Jane. So basically, she is like a script writer, and she has this good script that she thinks that is like her best work yet. And it's called True Story. So like, basically, like the title says, it's a love story, meaning like it's probably going to be based off like what the script is about. Is like her real life experience. Like, who knows? Because she hasn't fallen in love yet. Like, she's just a single woman who is like married to her work, and that's pretty much the concept of this book so far. And she has like this nemesis that basically like wants to make her movie like artsy fartsy, and she says like it doesn't really win awards. Like, it sounds fun, but honestly I'm just like not really feeling the writing right now, which is crazy because, and I don't know, it feels very like forcefully laid out, like, oh, this is how you feel about this person, and like it feels a little bit like too descriptive. So I don't know. And I think what they mean with like advanced reader copies is that you can read quotes. I just don't think you can post like direct quotes from the book like online. But I think you can say it, but you can't directly quote the book until it's out. Like if you're putting like your updates on Goodreads, or if like there's quotes that you want to like highlight for your review, I don't think you can do that until the book is out. So, but for me, on the safe side, I just like say what the general synopsis is and what my thoughts are so far. So anyway, hopefully it'll get better. Again, we're just in the beginning right now, but like usually I'm pretty hooked on her writing from the very first page, and I'm really used to like her beautiful quotes and like her really well flowing kind of writing. I don't know, I was just a little bit surprised, but I'm sure I'm gonna like it. I just don't know if this one's gonna beat Nora Goes Off Script and Summer Romance, because those are my two favorite books from her. Probably Summer Romance is my favorite. I just love that book. It's so good. And they're just such quick, easy, like, spring, summer romances, because that's basically what she writes, is just spring, summer romances. And Nora Goes Off Script is such a good book, too. It's one of my favorite books. And it's just, like, I'm not really getting that 5-star feeling with this one, but, like, most people have praised this book before it comes out. Again, I've been hearing more mixed reviews about the love haters over this one, so we'll see. Also, I am thinking about adding in one other book in this video, but it's not really that highly anticipated for me. But I was playing with the idea that I was either going to call this just new spring romances or just highly anticipated spring romances for me. But I am thinking about adding Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood to this video because that book also comes out soon as well. It comes out, I believe, like the 3rd week of May. I'm not sure exactly what day. I don't know if The Love Haters and this book both come out the same day, but Problematic. Oh, it comes out the same day as Annabelle Monaghan's book. Okay. Wow. Maybe I will include it because they both come out the same day. I don't have an advanced reader copy of that. I don't think I've ever gotten an Allie. I haven't gotten an Ali Hazelwood advanced reader copy, but I've gotten like 4 romances that I'm so excited about, which is The Love Haters. It's a love story. I did get Promise Me Sunshine, and I read that all the way back in February. And what's the other one? Oh, Lynn Painter's Made for Each Other. It doesn't come out till July. I have that one too. So, and then I just received the 3rd book in the My Roommate is a Vampire series by Jenna Levine, which is, I forget what it's called, but I'm so excited to read that one too. But I literally just received 3 arcs in the past like 2 weeks, but they don't even come out until October. And they're like from 3 authors. Like mostly all the arcs that I request are all from authors that I've read from before, and every single one that I've gotten are all authors that I've read from before. So yeah, it's so great. I love it so much, and that was like my one goal as a reader was to be able to get advanced reader copies, and it's just amazing that you're able to get them. So I don't know, it's so freaking surreal to me that when I even received my first one, I was like freaking out, and the fact that I've received 8 now is literally crazy because I write reviews for like every single book that I read. Let me see if I received any more and then I'll shut up, but I don't think I have. NetGalley. I only use NetGalley, but I might start using like another website because like sometimes, I mean, of course I'm still going to be using NetGalley. Like I'm not going to stop using it, but like they didn't have a couple of arcs that I wanted, like Watch Me by Tahira Mafi. They actually didn't even have that arc, so, but it's not a huge deal. Like, honestly, I have an endless TBR, so it's, like, not a huge deal if I don't receive every arc that I want to read. So, yeah, I will check in with you guys when I'm, like, in, like, 50% into this book. I don't know what page number I'm going to be on because I don't have the arc on NetGalley anymore because you do have a certain amount of time that you're given to like download the book and to like the device you're going to read it on. So since I have it on my Kindle, I didn't, need the NetGalley version anymore, but also like it does expire after a certain amount of time. I think it's like 2 or 3 months. So you still have like a lot of time to download it to what you're going to read it on. But the only problem with that is that since it's a document and not technically a book, even though it says 7 hours left in book, still it doesn't tell you what page number you're on because it's technically a document. So it's a little annoying, but yeah. Okay, so I'll check in with you guys when I'm halfway through. So bye. Okay, so hey guys. So I am still reading Annabelle Monaghan's It's a Love Story. And I'm like 43% of the way through. I'm sorry for the quality of this clip. It's dark out and I still haven't gotten my light bulb replaced for this light because, yeah, I just don't want to deal with my mom. She's just a bitch. So, anyway, sorry. Maybe I shouldn't say that on the internet, but I don't really care. It's not like she watches my videos. So, anyway, I am, I think, like 40-something% of the way through, and I know I said I was gonna, I love how I'm holding it like this, and I did say I was going to make a check-in that, when I was, like, No, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm on chapter 16. So that is, yeah, chapter 16. Um, it's 43% of the way through. If I'm a little slow right now, I got rear-ended earlier by this guy, and my head feels like it kind of hurts a lot. So I took an Advil, and hopefully that'll help. But yeah, I don't have any physical injuries, but like, my head did go back and forth, so my head hurts a little. Yeah, probably should go get checked out at some point, but I'll probably be fine by tomorrow. I just probably need to sleep because my ass is so sleep deprived, so I'm hoping to go to sleep soon. So I'm probably just gonna watch some YouTube and try and go to bed a bit earlier because I have to get up a bit earlier tomorrow. And I always go to bed at fucking 3 a.m. So I'm probably just gonna watch like 2 YouTube videos and then read a little bit and go to sleep. But anyway, this book, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm not gonna be like really that, like, kind of kind about it because I'm really not enjoying this book, like, at all. Like, I've actually wanted to DNF it like a couple of times, and I'm just like, it wouldn't really be that much of a big deal because the book is free to me just to review. So it's not like I would be wasting any money DNFing it. But honestly, I feel like this book is written by like a totally different author. Like, this is not the Annabelle Monaghan writing I'm used to. And I don't love when I say that because it's like I shouldn't be, I guess, used to any kind of writing, but I kind of know what I'm expecting with certain authors that are like reliable authors that I enjoy. Their writing, like Frederick Bachman or TJ Klune, or like with romance authors like Abby Jimenez and Emily Henry and Cara Bastone and Hannah Bonham Young, like, and even Ali Hazelwood's books are, I don't know, like they're hit and miss for me, but this is like, I don't know, this book is so cringe to me. And literally, it I feel like the romance is like so forced in this book. Like I feel like absolutely zero chemistry between these two characters. And they're supposed to be like rivals to lovers, but honestly the way that she's like writing this book is like, and then he did this, and then she did this, and then he did this, and now she's naked, and now she's not, and now he has his shirt off. Like, it's just very, like, I don't know, like, kind of robotically written, to be honest. And it's like, I don't know. I'm just not really liking it that much. And I'm really, really shocked because, like, I love Annabelle Monaghan's writing. I feel like I need to go back and look at Summer Romance again and Nora Goes Off Script. Even same time next summer, I don't really love as much as Summer Romance and Nora Goes Off Script because I rated that a 4 star as opposed to 5 stars with Nora Goes Off Script and Summer Romance. But this book, I don't care about the romance at all. And I think the reason why is, I don't know if I said this before, when I was starting the book, is that I feel like they were trying to force Annabelle Monaghan to become a romance author when she is a women's fiction author with a subplot of romance. And I feel like that's why her books work so well. But also, her books are a little bit formulaic, but they work. So I'm used to like reading like beautiful quotes and lines from Annabelle Monaghan, and I'm not getting like any of that in this book. Like maybe one or two things I've highlighted are like, 2 or 3 sentences of something that I liked. But it's like, I don't know, the dialogue just feels so forced. So basically, Jane has to go to Long Island with Dan. I forget why. They just have to like go out there for some fucking reason. I really don't understand why. I think they have to get one of her childhood rivals to make a song for the script that she wrote, and she has to bring Dan with him. I really don't remember the reason. I don't think I really care that much. But they go out to Long Island, and I got so excited because I'm from Long Island. So she's writing about Long Island, and I was so excited to see like if she was going to describe, like some of the places that I know, or like, I don't know. So far she's only described like the house that they go to and one of the beaches that they go to. She doesn't even say which one. It's like it's Jones Beach or Robert Moses or whatever. So but I guess I'm expecting too much cuz like most books don't like describe the location that much. Like they just describe like the atmosphere. But I don't know. I'm not even getting that from this book. And then it's just like they spend time at the beach and then they go back to the house, and that's basically all that's going on right now. But because Dan is shirtless and she just took a shower, because they went to the beach, like that's it. That's the point that I'm up to right now. Like really not much has happened pretty much at all. There was like this one part that got me more interested earlier, and that chapter was actually pretty good. But then, literally, right after that chapter ended, it went back to like the stagnant, boring, stale dialogue. And there was like one part that really made me want to DNF it. But I'm like, I don't want to do that because, like, I don't like DNFing arcs. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to keep on pushing on. But yeah, I'm probably just going to check in again when I'm done with this book because I have like basically under 4 hours left. So I should be done with it by like tomorrow or Monday. I'm just not going to be able to get that much reading done until tomorrow night, but I don't know. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to go because I need to rest. So bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. So my life is a mess right now. Okay? It's a mess. I really need to take care of some shit. So yeah. But I'm gonna give you guys my honest review about this book. So I finished Annabelle Monaghan's It's a Love Story. I finished it like an hour or two ago. And I didn't like it. I really didn't like this. I thought it was so repetitive. There was so many times where words were used too much in like a sentence or two, and it just got so repetitive that I'm like, okay, the sentence ends up being redundant if you're going to say it over and over and over again. Like, I feel like this was trying to be a combination of Nora Goes Off Script and like Same Time Next Summer, and kind of like tried to emulate a bit of what the rom-commers was, like I said, from Catherine Center. But I didn't feel any tension between them. I didn't feel any sort of like rivals to lovers kind of thing when I thought that that's what it was going to be. There was no like real banter between the two characters. And I'm not saying that every book needs that kind of banter in order for me to rate it higher, but honestly, there was only like a couple parts where I laughed a little bit, but honestly, like in all of the other Annabelle Monaghan books that I've read, I have laughed out loud. I've had to put the book down because I was laughing so hard. And even like the passages that I expected like her really beautiful writing in, it was just, I don't know, just everything about this book was like totally redundant to me. And then when I was reading the acknowledgments, she said it was because of Jeanette McCurdy's I Wish My Mom Was Dead kind of inspired this kind of story. But honestly, her mother in this book is nothing compared to Jeanette McCurdy's real mom. Like, the only thing that her mom was guilty of was not telling her daughter that he really left, because he did die after he left them. But she wanted to spare the pain from her. This is a little spoilery, so sorry if I'm spoiling a little bit, but she wanted to spare her the pain of, not living through her teenage years through that, because I think she was like 14 years old then. But like the way that her mom said it to her, though, it was just like so blunt and so like cold, and it wasn't like, I don't know, I just felt like no connection to any of the characters in this book. Like, I really did not care about anybody. And in order for me to rate a book higher, or in order for me to like a book, I have to at least connect to one of the characters. And honestly, I kind of found the female main character a little bit annoying. But I don't know. It's just, I felt like there was no substance to them. And like I said, I felt like there was no real tension between her and Dan. So the female main character's name is Jane, and then the male main character's name is Dan, and she's supposed to like hate him because he came in one day and said that he didn't like her script. So, and I was right about what the plot was, is that they went to Long Island just to get her childhood love, well, her teenage love, because he was like the first guy she fell in love with. But then like he rejected her at one point, and then that kind of like ruined her whole viewpoint on love. But then she ends up falling in love with Dan. But then she claims that she only knew Dan a week, but they had worked together. But this is when she really got to know him. And then like she kept on stressing that she was like, this isn't insta love, this is real love, it's not insta love. And I'm just like, well, you're making it feel like it's insta love because you keep on saying it. So that annoyed me too. But also, I was right about like what the plot was they were going to Long Island, which I live in. And honestly, she didn't really describe anything about Long Island. Like, and that kind of, I don't know. Even Frida McFadden and the boyfriend explain Long Island more, because Frida McFadden actually writes a few books that take place in Long Island. I think also The Housemaid took place in Long Island. And I felt like she described more about like the Long Island Expressway and stuff like that. And I think she even mentioned one of our towns. But like, I don't know, they just kept on saying, we need to go, I should have never went to Long Island. What are we doing in Long Island? Like, I don't know. It just made it like so obvious and annoying. Like, how can my home annoy me in a book? I guess this did, but anyway. So they have to go to Long Island and get this song from her teenage love, not Dan. What the fuck is his name? Jack. I think his name is Jax. Or Jack or something. And he's like a big music artist, and she needs to get one of his songs and to be in this movie. But then, since they can't get the song in the movie, then that's it. Like, she like breaks down, and then she's like, I'm done. I need to go back home, and that's it. Like, there was really no description about like what the movie was about, other than constantly comparing it to The Notebook. And that pissed me off too. I'm like, how many times can we compare it to something that we already have seen? We know what The Notebook is about. It's been out for probably a good 10 years at this point. I don't know. It just kept on annoying me. So I don't want to keep on ragging on this book and dragging it. But I just want to say I didn't like it. And I'm just so shocked, because she's usually an author that I love her books, and I was so excited to read this, and I was so in the mood for Annabelle Monaghan's writing. After finishing The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I wanted to go into a bit of a palate cleanser, so I was like, maybe I should just pick up an arc that I've had since like the beginning of March, I think. so I can read it before it comes out because it comes out May 27th, I believe. I'll tell you guys all the dates of when these books come out at the end of the video. But yeah, I'm giving it a 2.5 stars. I didn't even feel like giving it a 3. And I'm really shocked, honestly, because at least in the other, like, I have not rated a romance 2 stars this year, I think, besides this one. Because even like Deep End, I rated 3 stars. Practice Makes Perfect, I rated 3 stars. When in Rome, I rated 3.25 or 3.75. I rated Practice Makes Perfect 3.25 because there was parts in it that were cringy, but also there were parts that were funny that kept me interested to read the book more. Honestly, I wanted to DNF this book so many times. Sorry, the screen went off. It's fine. I don't need to hold it anymore. But yeah, I was just like, how do I want to, I don't know why my mom is slamming the fucking door. How do I want to DNF an Annabelle Monaghan book? But I think it's like I said before, I feel like she needs to change up, like, maybe the setting of her stories at this point, because at this point it's kind of getting a little bit repetitive. It's kind of like Ali Hazelwood with her STEM romances, and I tend to really like Ali Hazelwood STEM romances, so I might put Problematic Summer Romance at the end of this video when it comes out, because that's the only one I don't have an arc for, and Great Big Beautiful Life already came out. But the difference between Great Big Beautiful Life and this book, hold on one second, is that Great Big Beautiful Life, some people didn't love it. I personally loved it because I actually really enjoy Emily Henry's women's general fiction writing a lot, and I really loved the romance in Great Big Beautiful Life, because she kind of made the romance plot like simpler to understand, like, not like understand, but you know what I mean, like, just made it like a simpler kind of romance, even though like the female main character in that book also had problems with her mother too. But the way that Emily Henry wrote that, and she had a struggling relationship with her mom, I cared about the main female characters so much by that point that's why that book was a 5-star for me. Like, with this, I think it's really because they're trying to make Annabelle Monaghan more so a romance author than a women's general fiction author with a romance subplot, because that's how all of her other books are. I really need to pull out her 3 books and like read a couple of pages again to see why I loved them, because, you know, I need to refresh my memory. But there are such vivid parts that stick out in my brain on why I love those books that it's like, even Same Time Next Summer, like I said, I enjoyed that way more than this book, even though that was my least favorite book up until this point from Annabelle Monaghan. But like, I don't know, I'm just so I'm so disappointed, because like, it wasn't like, I don't think I've rated a romance 2 stars since Nothing Like the Movies back in October of last year. This is honestly the worst romance I've read this year so far, which I'm really shocked. So I am really curious to pick up The Love Haters sooner rather than later by Catherine Center, because I saw a lot more mixed reviews about that book as opposed to Annabelle Monaghan's It's a Love Story. But I think I said this last night, I can't remember, and then I'll shut up because this clip is so long. I looked up how many reviews there were, and there was only 5 reviews. 3 of them were 5-star, and 2 of them were 4-star. So I really would like to know when this book comes out what other people are going to think about it. But also my friend on YouTube, Monica Fortner, she's reading it right now. She's been reading it for a while, and I would like to know her thoughts when she's done with it. It's probably not going to be a 5-star for her, I don't think, but we'll see. you know, I can't predict what she thinks of it. But I messaged her yesterday and I'm like, girl, I'm really not enjoying this book because we both got the arc, which is so cool. Um, and she's like, she was enjoying it. And I thought I was gonna love it too, but like literally, like I said before, when I was starting it from the first chapter, I didn't like it. So I don't know. I'm just really disappointed because I really love her writing. And, you know, Abby Jimenez delivered, Emily Henry delivered because they both ended up being 5-star romances for me. And those are usually my highest anticipated romances of the year. And even Ali Hazelwood's Deep End was better than this book. I'm sorry. But and I really enjoyed Beg, Borrow, Steal by Sarah Adams. I really enjoyed Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. Those all came out this year. Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone was a 5-star read for me, and that came out in March. But I feel like I'm the most up and down with like the advanced reader copies that I'm getting. So now this is my 4th advanced reader copy that I've finished. The first one was Promise Me Sunshine, and I gave that a 5-star. And then I read The Hollow Hunt, and I gave that, well, I think I read that right after I finished A Drop of Corruption, and A Drop of Corruption I gave like 3.5 because that book was just so frustrating, but it was better than this book. And then The Hollow Hunt I gave a 4.25, I think. I really enjoyed it, by Margie Fuston. And then this one I gave a 2.5. So yeah, I'm really curious about my thoughts about The Love Haters. So I think I'm going to pick that up right after I finish Sunrise on the Reaping, because now I have to read Sunrise on the Reaping because I only have 4 days left on my Libby loan for it, and I am dying to read it. I actually already started it. I got like 10 pages in, and I know it's going to crush me, but I feel like I need something that I know I'm gonna fucking be blown away by after reading this. But I really thought that this was gonna be like, you know, a good palate cleanser in between Songbirds and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping, because those books are heavy. And I was like, I was so in the mood for this book, and I was just like, it sucks. I really needed to win this weekend, so yeah, this sucks. So I will talk to you guys when I start The Love Haters. So bye. Okay, so hey there guys. So I wanted to make my first check-in on starting the 3rd book that I'm reading in this video. Also, I am really, really sick right now. I just have not had the best weekend, like after getting rear-ended, like I told you guys. I also got my card taken on Sunday because I left it behind the bar at the bowling alley that we were at, you know, for my tab, because the bartender was like, you need to keep at least 1 card behind the bar. And we're like, okay. Somehow he gave it to another customer and ran it for another customer, so I have to call the bowling alley later. I've just been letting my voice recover. And then Monday night I got sick from something that I ate, and I didn't really sleep that night, and also I haven't slept like the past 2 days as well. I mean, actually, I think I got a few hours of sleep last night, but then I was up at like 7 in the morning, just, you know, waking up coughing, because like sometimes like when you're sick, if you like, you know, start feeling like you're coughing even when you're sleeping, it just fucks with your sleep. I think I did fall back asleep for like a half hour though, but then I was up for like 3 hours. But anyway, I started reading Catherine Center's The Love Haters this morning. And so far I am in, I think I'm always, sorry, brain fart. Almost 30% of the way through. I'm literally at 29%. I had it on dark mode because I've just been reading more so on dark mode lately. Because, like, I, like, can't read, like, the super bright screen sometimes, like, when I'm sick. So, anyway, like, because it just gives me, like, a constant headache. So, there we go. Now it's in bright mode. So, anyway, I started this yesterday, and I only had read, like, I think the first 2.5 chapters, or maybe, like, the first 3 chapters, because I took my Kindle to work, and I really just wanted to start this book, because, I had finished the third book in the Rebel Ranch series yesterday, which I'm actually really surprised that I finished it yesterday because, like, I didn't really have that much time to read yesterday, and I still ended up finishing that book. I only ended up reading like 65 pages of it physically and literally listening to the audiobook the entirety of the rest of the book because I had to like run to work yesterday because like my work schedule just got so screwed up yesterday, but I'm like literally feeling like dog shit. I think I'm gonna go to Chick-fil-A and get myself some chicken noodle soup and fries because that's what I'm craving right now, and I really want to have their chicken noodle soup because I'm not really feeling like having Campbell's chicken noodle soup, and also I just want to take myself out of the house for like not even like 45 minutes, like just eat and come home. So because I don't know how much longer I'm going to have my car because I still have to take that in to be fixed because me and my family put in like a insurance claim like 2 days ago, so who knows how long that's going to take. So anyway, so yeah, I'm almost 30% of the way through. And so far, I am enjoying this book so much more than It's a Love Story. Like yes, there is like one or two like cringy moments, but I'm finding myself laughing out loud. Like this is my 6th Catherine Center book, so I'm pretty familiar with her writing at this point. I think her writing is hysterical. I don't think that this book is as funny as How to Walk Away or Hello Stranger or the rom-commers. Like the last book I had read from her was the rom-commers back in March, but I just listened to the entirety of that audiobook because she narrated the audiobook. So and that was a 5-star for me. So that was the last book that I read from her, but also the last book that I read from her was a 5-star. Most of her books I have enjoyed and given more than a 4.25 and above. My least favorite book from her was What You Wish For. I think this is going to be a solid 4 stars pretty much at this point. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's so much fun. So basically it's about, what is the main character's name? I don't know why I'm blanking already. Her name is Katie, and the male, oh my god, what is wrong with me? Male main character. Jesus. Name is Tom Hutchinson, and honestly, his name Hutch is bothering me because it's like such a butch, like cliche name for a guy, but it kind of makes sense for his character though, but it's kind of making me cringe a little bit every time I read it. I'm like, can we please stop calling him Hutch? But anyway, so she works for like a documentary film company pretty much, and it starts off where like she has the potential to be, well, there is the potential that she is going to be laid off. And like her boss like comes to her and asks her to do like this project for him. And he thinks that her work is really good. And why do I keep on mixing up he and she and male and female? Like, what is wrong with me with my brain? Like, I'm sorry, my voice is like dying. And he wants to send her to do like this big job that he actually was supposed to do, because turns out the main subject, which is Hutch, is related to Cole. I'm not going to say how. But he ends up sending her because he thinks her work is good, because he's actually seen some of it and she had no idea that he had looked at her work. And he's like, I think you're the right person for the job. But what's funny is, what makes this so funny is that it's like a Coast Guard kind of documentary. And she's going there with no experience knowing how to swim. She can't swim. So that whole concept I just thought was hysterical. So as of right now, like, so she gets sent there and their meet cute was absolutely hysterical. I know some people were like, it was cringe and they hated it, but honestly, I thought it was hysterical because it makes so much sense for like
why these characters hate love. So like basically both of them haven't been in a relationship for like over a year, and then she gave us like the entire history of like her past relationship, and like her boyfriend was a piece of shit and stuff. But also she's always struggled with like, I guess you could say, body dysmorphia, because you know, he had previously made her feel like really insecure about her weight and her body. So she goes into that a lot, and I really like the way that Catherine Cedric like explained that part. She was like really sensitive to it, but also like I love like the witty humor that Catherine Cedric still puts in something that she's telling that like is a traumatic experience that character goes through. So that's why I really enjoy her writing still. So I'm having a great time. So basically, we're up to the part where I'm not gonna say like how they did their meet cute. Basically, she did meet him once before this, but like in like a boutique so she could get new clothes, because like her clothes got like soaked in the airport from some rando woman spilling her Starbucks venti all over her. It was just so funny. Um, and he like walks into the shop and sees her, but he didn't know who she was. So then, like, the second time they meet each other, she's gonna take swimming lessons from him because he is the main subject of her documentary. So it's just so funny, like, the way that, like, the whole swimming lesson thing occurs. It was just really, really funny. And then, now I'm up to the part, basically, where he just found out who she is because he didn't know who she was before. And now he's like pissed at Cole because he's like, why didn't you tell me? How come you didn't come? Like, what the fuck? Because they're like not really close because like some shit happened in the past with them that we don't know about yet. So basically, we're up to the part where like she's filming the documentary and like getting him to like come out of his shell, because like before she was saying like he was super robotic and like he kept on like for being aware of the camera, and he kept on giving like these horrible answers. You know, it's really funny. So like that's basically what I'm up to right now. And also she's been having like constant struggles like wearing a bathing suit, and that's the whole reason why she avoided swimming, was because she is really insecure about her body because her boyfriend made her that way, but also like her aunt in the past like kind of made her that way too. But so far, really, really good. And I'm really excited to pick it back up again. I am actually looking forward to reading this one. But also, like, I have been reading so much on my Kindle lately because I've been reading ARCs, I've been reading Libby Loans, and I've been reading, like, Kindle Unlimited, which I don't know if I've read any Kindle Unlimited this month yet. But the only 2 physical books, yeah. I've read 2 Libby Loans, 2 physical books, and now I'm on my second arc of the month because, like I said, I read It's a Love Story and I really didn't enjoy it. So, what's funny is that I've actually rated, like, Annabelle Monaghan's books in the past, like, higher than Catherine Center's, but I still have had, excuse me, 2 5-stars from both authors, so they're pretty much on the same level for me as far as like their writing and the enjoyment of it. I'm probably not gonna make another check-in now until I'm like 75% in because I can't talk anymore. Like my voice is dying. So yeah, I will check in probably tomorrow and let you guys know like what I think. But so far I'm really enjoying it. So bye. Okay, so hey there guys. So I wanted to let you guys know that I did finish Catherine Center's The Love Haters yesterday. I didn't make any check-ins after the 25% mark, or actually it was like almost 30% in, because I just flew through this. I had read a good like 45% of it after I made that clip, and then I just finished the rest of it just listening to the AI read to me on the NetGalley app, because it does give you that ability, because obviously the audiobook isn't going to be out yet when the book isn't even out yet, but they give you the ability to read aloud. So I really like that feature, honestly, even though like sometimes the AI voices are a little annoying, But usually you do have quite a bit of options on like what AI voice you can use. But I just adjust it to like the normal woman or the normal man speaking. If it's a female main character, obviously I'm going to use the female voice. So anyway, I really, really enjoyed this. I'm giving it a 4.25 stars. Originally, last night, I thought I was going to give it a 4.5. And before, like, when I was like 50% of the way through, I was going to give it like a 4 star. But the last, like, 50 pages or so, I was not really expecting, and I kind of liked it. So I'm giving it a 4.25, which is still really, really good rating. So I just had a really good time with this book. Like, it was very, very fast paced. I was not bored once in this book. Like, the stories just moved along way faster and way better than It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. I just could not jive with the writing of that book. I really couldn't. I'm not saying that this book was perfect, though, because there were some things that annoyed me. Like I said, Hutch's name just annoyed me in general. But I think overall, like, both of the characters did some things that I didn't really like. But some things that the main female character said, Katie, like, in her head, were kind of a little dumb. But also, like, there were like a couple of times where she like exceeded my expectations. Like it kind of like reminded me a little bit of like the way that the main character in Kiss of the Basilisk fucking annoyed me. But hers was like not as extreme because like Tam would do like such dumb things in that book sometimes. But in this, it's like because she's a human, you know, she's like still like reasoning some things, but also like she did say some dumb things that just took me out of the story a little bit in her head. But then also there was like a lot of like family drama going on with Hutch and Cole, and I found myself really invested in that story. But also Cole was like a fucking asshole, man. Like he was such a piece of shit, honestly. So like the second half of the book reminded me a lot of The Paradise Problem by Christina Loren. I was like, this is kind of becoming like a little bit of like a Succession story. Because they had like a lot of family drama. And when they said what the family drama was, I like my jaw was on the floor. I was like, what? I was like, that part was crazy. So sorry, don't mind me talking. I'm gonna sound like I'm dying. But then also like during like the third half of the book, there's like, you know, something that happens where there's like a hurricane that occurs, and I'm not really spoiling that much. And Hutch has to go like, you know, rescue people because he's a Coast Guard, so he has to go and, you know, save people from the water and all of that. And Katie finds that his dog was left on the boat that he lives in, and she basically has to go rescue him. And it's like, for someone that's been a Coast Guard for a long time, do you always leave your dog on a boat like that every time you have to go on like a rescue mission? I'm like, that seemed to be pretty insensitive of him, even though like, yes, like you have to be called in and go right away when you're a Coast Guard, but also like he did have family that he could leave the dog with if he needed to. And also the dog in this book, George Bailey, everybody's saying that he's like the best character in the whole book, and I'd have to agree. He was fucking hysterical. Like, it was just so funny, like, how much focus she put on the dog, but also, like, it didn't really distract too much from the love story, because I still really liked their romance, and I still really liked the plot of this book. So, but anyway, so she has to go rescue the dog, but also, which I also found that this was really impractical, like, not just leaving the dog, because he lives on a boat, so he left the dog on a boat, so that means that there's going to be extremely high winds and high tide because of a hurricane. You weren't worried that, like, your boat was going to get washed away with the dog inside? Like, that was just really weird to me. And then also, this was so stupid, but, like, this was, like, kind of dumb, but then, like, the last 30 pages I really liked, is that he had left his cell phone, like, in between, like, his bed board. I think it, like, fell through, and he didn't realize that he didn't have his phone with him. Like, aren't you supposed to have your phone if you're, like, a rescue op? But at the same time, like, if he had his phone on him when he's, like, in the water saving people, like, but do go in boats usually. But as soon as this was, like, the dumbest thing that she had asked. It's like, no shit, girl. Like, literally the dumbest line in the entire book. She finds it, and then she's like, oh, his cell phone is here, like, because she heard that it was ringing, and they had gotten into, like, a fight the day before about, like, all this drama that happened at the end of the book, and she's like, is this why he hasn't been texting me back? Duh, because he doesn't have a phone. Like, no shit. Well, is this why he's not texting me back? Yes, because he has no way of getting in touch with you now. Like, what the fuck? That, like, really annoyed me. I was like, I had to, like, put it down and, like, face palmed. I'm like, are you serious, girl? Like, Catherine. I love her writing usually, but I'm like, girl, do you really, like, duh? Like, what? So, but besides that, and also, like, Hutch was, like, kind of mean, like, once or twice, but overall, I still really liked him, because, like, they did explain, like, when he was mean at one point, because, like, there was some bullshit going on that, like, Hutch didn't really know the real story, so he was pretty pissed about it, so I got why he was mean then, but, like, the second time was it was a little bit much. But, like, overall, still really liked it, and that's about it. That's all I have to say. So I don't know if I'm gonna end the vlog here. And those were, like, my 3 most highly anticipated romances of the past of the spring. But also I was thinking about putting, like, just 2 more books in here as I read them. Like, I have one of them, the other one's not out yet. The other one doesn't come out until, like, I think, like, the 17th or something. This one comes out, oh, okay. I think it comes out the same day as It's a Love Story, so I'll be reading this in replacement of It's a Love Story, because obviously I already read it. But yeah, I'm glad I got through 2 arcs in this video. I just really wanted to review Love Haters a little bit before it comes out, because it comes out May 20th. I don't know if I said that. So it comes out May 20th. It's a Love Story comes out May 27th. I think I am going to talk about 2 more books in this video as I read them. So the next one I'm going to read, let me just grab it really quick. So we're not going to read it at the current moment, because I literally just finished the 3rd book in this series, like, 2 days ago. So I'm not, like, super in the mood to read it right now, but if I do read this book next week, then I will be done with the series. So this is the final book in the Rebel Ranch series, and that is Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. So this is going to be the next book that I read in this video. But I'm probably going to pick it up, like, late next week, because I have, like, a few books that I want to read before I finish this series. But I'm just not in the mood for a romance at the current moment, because I've been reading a shit ton of romances lately. And again, I just finished the 3rd book in this series, so I really don't want to jump into the next one, even though the 3rd one kind of left off on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I kind of want to know what happens, but at the same time, like, I just don't feel like reading a romance right now. But also I'm itching to get to the last book because then that means I will have finished this series like so fast because I read the first one like towards the end of April, and then I read the second one as my first book in May, and then I just finished Lost and Lassoed like not even 2 days ago, and that was by far my favorite book in the series so far. The second book was definitely my least favorite, so take that for what you will. I've been seeing mixed reviews about this one though, but I think I am gonna enjoy this one more so than the first two as well. But I've been seeing a lot of 3-star reviews about this because there's like a thing with her family that people got annoyed about that like didn't really get resolved, so we'll see what happens. And then the other book that I'm gonna read in this video is Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood, and this is the sequel to Not in Love, and I did just read Not in Love back in March, and I'm glad that I decided to read it in March because I just wanted to pick up one more Ali Hazelwood book, and I knew that this book was coming out at that point, so I wanted to read Not in Love sooner rather than later because I knew I wasn't going to have time to read it this month, but also last month I just didn't feel like reading an Ali Hazelwood book. So after I read this one, then I'll only have Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood, and then I will have read all of her books, which is crazy. Like, that's kind of the fastest that I've gotten through an author's backlist since, like, Abby Jimenez, because you guys know, after I read an Abby Jimenez book, I had to read her entire backlist because she's still my favorite romance author. So anyway, this comes out May 27th, like I said. So yeah, I'm gonna be talking about those two soon. But then that means this video is not gonna go up until like the end of this month, which is fine because I still have my Hunger Games vlog that I have to upload. Because I finished Sunrise and the Reaping a couple of days ago and that fucking destroyed me, but I'm so glad I finally read that series. So I already read a series the past 2 weeks, which was awesome, and then I will be finishing this series as well, which is great. So yeah, besides that, I wasn't really sure what I was in the mood for to read today, but again, I've been reading so much on my Kindle lately, but all I want to read is Diary Bound today, because I really am in a huge, like, romantic-y mood today, and it's not like it's not on my TBR, it's my book club pick for this month, so, I don't know, I kind of wanted to read it a bit before, A Curse Carved in Bone comes out, and that means I could read a lot today and tomorrow of it. Even though I already said I was reading Watermoon, but I don't know. And then I was just gonna finish the Rebel Ranch series right before A Curse Carved in Bone comes out. Because I still have like almost 3 days to read Diary Bound for now. So, I don't know why my dog is barking. So yeah, I will let you guys know later in this video when I pick up Wild and Wrangled. Maybe I'll pick this up in like 2 days. We'll see, because then I can just finish the series so easily. So yeah, that's it. Bye.